How's it going, everyone? Krenz here. Alright, today we are going to talk about terrain editing. So, we're in game right now. We are going to take our little pavilion and get that out of water, put it on land. We're going to come up here. And we are either going to try to fix my blending issue right here. See what this looks like. It might help if I do this. Set local time 8. See if that works. Here we go. So we can see what's going on. I don't like the way it's blended. So let's come up here and we're going to take a look at this here. Take a look at this material. This material. This material. This material. This material. And this material. This is what you can paint from our biome that we are using in game. And if we have time, I would like to try to fix this so I have a little nicer looking front step and or my border cell. So as we come up in elevation, you can see exactly this whole square. This needs to get blended in better so my island shallow water blends into the natural ocean. And just for location, this is where we are at, just offshore of the mainland. So if we look on the map, G to come into local, you can even see what my issue is. We just humongous platform sticking out of the ground. So let's log out of game, jump into the creation kit. Which I already have open. Alright, so here's our... actually, I got it on here, but we're going to fix this part anyway. But before we go, let's come over here. These were the materials that I was showing you in-game. They look a little bit different, you know, in the creation kit. And if we come over here, right, a little bit different. And if we come out to our border, you can kind of see what the issue is. Now, these towers that I have, they're at the max of the thing. So one thing that I did learn, if you hit B, look at this nice little grid that comes up. Now, if you hit B again, see, that's why I can't get this tower to go any farther. So this cell right here is the last cell that is edible in game, and everything out here is technically unedible. So this is where my drop off is. So we need to make a taper from here, at least going back into here, I would think, just to make it look nice. So this island's definitely going to get a little bit smaller. Alright, but now let's come back over here and we're going to work on this. We're going to put this thing on a peninsula. So our terrain editor, alright, you hit H. You have two things. You have sculpt over here and you have material. Now here, the size, this 10, see my circle right now? Now if I change this to a 5, right, it gets smaller. If we bring this up to like, say, like 60, right, see how much like bigger it got? That's how you adjust your size. This is the strength of your thing. You're going to want to use anything from 1 all the way down to 0.01 if you're doing fine-tuning work. Spacing, I'm not exactly sure how much that goes. This random, this you could play with. As you can see, I have 0.2. I think by default this is 0.1. I really don't know exactly what this is controlling, it's something you have to play with. I mean, I have a lot of hours in here and I'm still unsure. But now for your height, you could set this to anything to 100, depending on how much you want to build up, down to 0.01, you know, doing corrective work. You have a normal brush. Layering kind of allows you to do a little bit of tapering. Build up I found pretty worthless and hardly ever use it. And flatten is very useful. Alright, now there's a whole bunch of brushes up here too. The only thing that I've really used is the new brush, which is this circle here. Let's bring this back down to a manageable size of 30. Right, there we go. And the square. The square comes in pretty useful if you're just want to make straight lines. This can like work really good. Now, if I come back up here and go to new brush, it actually changed. Sometimes like it hangs up and doesn't change. Just go ahead and hit clear and it'll go back to normal. Now, the only other thing on here is slope control. Slope control actually works in sculpt mode. So I think by default, this is actually on 90. So as you can imagine, 90-degree angle. So I always try to keep this on like either like a 10 or like a 20. Because there's nothing worse than just having totally flat. So it looks bad. So let's take a look. What we are going to do right now, we are going to subtract. All right, I'm going to put this at 0.5. All right, and I'm just going to come, got to put it up on normal. See how we're deleting? I'm going to make our brush way smaller. I'm going to go to like 15, right? We'll come in here, we'll delete this here. Unclick that, let's go on normal. Let's try to build this up in front. And then we're going to come back to subtract and try to like ride this. Oh, I didn't hit subtract. Try to get this like a little shallow area here, like in the front. Let's get a little closer to see what we're going on. So try to find like a depth that you want, right? Once you found a good depth, I kind of like this, like right here, we are going to come to flatten. All right, make sure you uncheck subtract. You want to be on regular flattened, have a really low setting, and this will ride out the area. See how it's building it up? Let's come up a little farther so we can see a little better. And it's making this whole area the same elevation. All right. So now what we are going to do, we're going to come to normal and we're going to try to build this up a little bit. But see, I got my strength set really low right now. And I'm probably going to drop this down to a 10. And we're just going to try to build up from the land here. See if I can back up. There we go. Let's try to grab this. All I'm doing right now is left clicking. Just moving it back and forth. Make a nice little peninsula there. Try to fix some of that there. And you get the idea. So we should be able to walk out. I'm going to make this a little smaller. So let's come back to flatten, right? Let's make this brush even smaller. Let's come down. Let's do 7.5. Try to, yeah, maybe something like that. All right, perfect. Now, this kind of leaves some rough edges. So now if I right click and like drag over this, it kind of like flattens it a little bit. Gives a little bit of like a taper in there. Stuff like this, you're just gonna have to play with it. Look at it in game, come back and like make modifications. All right, so that pretty much, let's come over here to something that's not important. We can fill in this hole. So let's take a look at stuff. So say if I go to normal, right? And I put in a height of 20. And I start working this back and forth, right? See how it builds up real quick? Now if I come back to like 0.5 and like build up like in the front, see how we go like real slow? So now if we come to flatten, right? If I leave this on 0.5, it kind of goes. But now if I bring this up, what were we using before? Like 20? Let's kind of see what happens. It's like much more harder. So like if we come up, this is how I pretty much built the island. You know, I just kept building up, making it flat on the whole square here. So now what happens, say if we come to layer, right? Let's come over here. We got this plateau. Well, get my thing going. And we're flat over here. So I'm going to kind of just like left click and pull off of this. Oh, our sculpt got unchecked. And we're going to definitely lower the power here. Probably going to come back to like 0.5. See what we can do here. Kind of like, it's not doing a lot. Let's try maybe a 3. Kind of. See, it's kind of like messed up. If I can't now, like if I build that up, I'm left clicking. Now if I right click and kind of like drag it up, see like how like we slope that there? So like if I left click, right, and now if I right click, it kind of like angles like stuff out. That's about the only thing that I use layer for. So if we come out here, this is kind of a good thing. Let's pick where we're at. So here's our landing pad. I don't have markers on. So the ship is facing, we're going to come behind the ship, right? So let's come back up. Let's come out to our grid. See how far like I extended this, but it's only showing up till like about here, I guess, in game, right? So we need to subtract this a lot. Let's come and maybe do a 10. Right, put that on normal. Why don't I have... Well... Let's see what's going on. Look at that, my little thing's like disappearing. That's very odd. Let's see if I can close this grid. Huh, very interesting. I don't know why it's not letting me maybe come all the way out here. Get out of the cell. Alright, let me close it. Open it back up. We don't need that. Very strange. Alright, it's being glitchy right now. I should be able to edit this, and for some reason, it is not letting me. I don't know why my little cursor, but it shows up there. Very interesting. Alright, so we'll just make the change here. But 10 was definitely too deep. Let's do a 5, maybe? Yeah, we'll just... Yeah, I'm surprised it's not letting me change it. But let's drop this off here. Oh, I see what's happening. I think because I'm recording, it's being a little glitchy right now. We might actually crash from doing this. So we're not going to do a lot. So I'm just left clicking right now. Now I'm going to right click and try to taper some of this. And let's come back to this layered and see if I can pull down. I know it's kind of hard, you're not seeing much, but for right now, I guess for testing purposes, I can get rid of my water. I need the water in here for testing. So let's hide that, right? Bring H back up. I was on flatten. So layer, get rid of subtract. Should be able to see some kind of a difference since we're not seeing stuff. So we're filling in over here. Let me get rid of this so at least we know it's up to the corner. That's good enough. All right, that was enough time wasted on that. Let's talk about material. All right, so uncheck sculpt, come to material, click the little box, and this will pop open. All right, now you have solid, talus, flat in, flat out, flow, and base. All right, took me a while to figure out, can't change this at all. So if we come back up, let's close this, come to Galaxy, Galaxy View, right? Now I am in Cheyenne. We are in Tequila. Here's my overlay. Can I open this? I'm not going to be able to open it up, but this is my overlay. Yep, we need to save our changes. Come to this biome. These are what's on Aquila. You have Ocean Life 1, Frozen Life 10, blah, blah, blah. All right, so since I built this in the ocean, all my landscape is Ocean Life 01. So now, if we come to landscape, no, is that, no, we got to come to biome, and we look for Ocean Life. Probably been faster if I typed it in, right? Ocean Life 01, right? Open this up, and we come to terrain data. Here's everything that you have to work with. We have rock rough, river rocks. We got sand ripple, we got sand rough, we got sand packed, sand fine. Now I tried adding this in, but it doesn't work. So I also tried to make a duplicate and set this. If we come back here, I don't have anything in here. Now, notice how you have the rock and it has rough rock on it. This has the seagrass on it. Technically, this should show up in game, but I found this like hit and miss. I don't know if there's something in this like which controls like the percentage amounts, like density. See density low, density none. So this is something you'd have to play around with. I really don't have enough experience, but if you get annoyed because you don't have like the type of material you want, this is what's controlling it. And if you're not sure, so let's come here to Aquila Cove, right? That's our world space. And I open this up. Here under biome, I have none. So leaving this none, I am using the default for Aquila. But if I open this up, I could change this to the custom one that I have. But for right now, I'm just leaving it default. Because if you change this Ocean 01, you're changing the whole planet. You're just not changing your cell. Just keep that in mind. So if you're making any modifications, make sure you create your own form. So let's close that out. And let's come back into here. So if we hit H, right? We're in material. Let's make our thing smaller. Let's do it 8. All right. Now if I hit solid, right? Now I just left click. I got some stone, right? Come back over here. Got some talos. See how it's a little bit different there? All right. Come in here. Got some flatten. So that was the one side of the pool. That was the 3 that I did, right? And if we come a little bit farther over here, and let's use the bottom 3. So we got this one. See how it just paints it nice? Now if you take a look, I'm using Mac occupancy on here. This is why it's showing quick. So if you're doing blend-in work, you would obviously want to like drop this slower. So something like this, you know, it's going to take a little bit to like work it out. You might have to close it out and like come back in. Or this base, this is like that sandy stuff. Let's see. Up. Look, see what happened? We're not working. Since I touched Mac occupancy, paint through became unchecked. So if you're wiggling all around and nothing's happening, makes you paint through is on there. So if I come down, there we go, paints it no problem. So if we come back up to the second one, which fiddled out on us, it goes all the way through. So now let's come back over here. What I was talking about, I didn't like my blending. So I kind of like have that rock on there, but I thought it looked kind of funny. So maybe we're going to like change this to this. All right, let me make my thing way smaller, probably like a 3. And we are just going to come through here. And change all this out so it looks a little better. I'm not going to go all the way down to the thing. I'm just going to do the transition around here. Come up here. Grab this. Grab that. And then we'll come over here and we'll hit sand. And try to like... Let me do... I wish I could move this. Let me just close it. Nope, I need it open for this to work. Ah, it's alright. We'll do it over here. Right. Nope, I'm going to have to move my camera. There we go. That's what's going on. So we'll come over here and we'll paint it. Here. Are we painting? Yeah, we're painting. And then we'll take this occupancy, and kind of like drop it down to do a little bit of blending in this section here. And then we'll even drop it even lower. We'll try to get a little bit on there. We'll see what it looks like in game. All right, and that pretty much covers changing like the textures in game. Well, let's come back to like something a little bit more complicated. All right, so we'll try to do this quick. So something like this, right? We are going to need, we got stairs, and there's stairs coming down here. So we're going to have to subtract. So turn off material. Check your strength. I got my strength pretty low. I'm going to put this at 0.1. We're going to put this, probably, we'll leave this at 0.1. Make sure you're on normal when you're using subtract. And let's try to come down. Actually, I'm going to drop to the square. Let me show you how the square works. So we got to make this square way smaller. So let's come down to maybe like a 2. I'm going to come right down the middle, right? Yeah. Okay, that was pretty hard there. I don't know. Oh, because I went on 3. That's why. So 0.1. And let's come back to our new brush, right? 0.1. Maybe make this like a 3. Oh, I didn't want flatten. And I'm going to plain out tell you right now, if you think you're going to do undo, it doesn't work in terrain editor. Now we got to come back and like try to fix this. So let's see, we're going to build up, right? Might have to make this a little stronger, 0.5. Come back in. It's a real time-consuming, annoying thing. It never works perfect. I don't know if you ever played with commercial airbrushing. like an air sprayer, between like air pressure, tip sizes, thickness of paints. It's literally, you could read all you want about it, watch all the videos that you want, but until you put the stupid thing in your hand and just start freaking spraying on something, you're never going to get good at it. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm building up. I don't know if I can build up over there. I might have to drop a rock. So I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try this layer. We're on a small size. I'm going to try right clicking. Wow, that was a lot. Maybe try 0.1. Try one right click there. See how quick that went? It still almost like overdid it, but you guys get the idea. So maybe try that, leave that there. Let's try subtracting on normal mode. Right. Oh, see strength up here. Let me put this back to 0.2. That might be what's messing me around too. Yeah, that works a little better. I'm right clicking right now to hit like big area as compared to like left clicking. So I'm just gonna keep right clicking. Oh, see, I'm starting to build up now. It flattened it out as much as it could. So let's get a little closer. Now you might get the urge to like turn up like the strength a little bit, but I normally find you kind of like overdo it. It's best just to sit there and fight with it. Alright, we may not be able to find this steps in here. I think this rock protrudes all the way. Oh, I'm actually in the wrong spot. These are my steps coming down. This is what I'm supposed to be cutting down. So keep working on this. The steps are starting to come into play. Let's back out a little bit. We'll just work on this one thing. Can't adjust my speed for some reason. It's alright. I am a little laggy here while recording. Just keep bringing that down. I'll bring this down. I'm going to try right clicking on here to like flatten this a little bit. Come back. Take some more material. Try to flatten a little bit. Bring this down. And even like right there, I'd be kind of like happy with that. But I need to build this back up here. So we're going to come back. We're going to try to use flatten. And we're going to try to bring this elevation up to this is flush here. So let's see what happens. Maybe even make this smaller. So apparently it's not enough. So let me try to build this up. Ah, good grief. Let's bring this up to 1. A little closer. Give that a little right click. Definitely need to build up here. But you guys get the idea, right? I'm not going to like make this perfect. But, see, I went like too much. You could sit here for a long time trying to like make this perfect. But you get the idea. The only other thing, is there anything else that we need to talk on? I think that pretty much goes into everything. So just like with anything else, if you make terrain edits, with like height or like whatever, you have to export your landscape. Now on the same notion, if you do material, right? Actually, this little trick, you could actually lay material and sculpt at the same time. So like if we come over here, this was like our rock, right? So like if I try to like level up, See how it's like doing rock too? Remember, it's because I got, oh, the occupancy is up. But that's something else that you can play with. I normally don't use them at the same time. And I don't think there's really anything else going on. I've never messed with tilting. I have no idea what proc gen is. And material cover, this opens up a whole other thing. Like if you come over here, I don't know honestly how to really get this to work too much. I fiddled with it, but it doesn't make sense to me. So like if we just like click on this, and if I did something, let me turn off sculpt. Nothing like really seems to happen. Like nothing happens in game. So like fern, like if I came over here, like if we did a lot. Oh, maybe because I don't have paint through on. See, it doesn't seem like anything's happening. I don't know. We'll look in game, see if some fern shows up. Or if we came back to this desert grass. Where were we doing the desert grass? We were doing it here. Well, we'll see what happens. And just so you know where we're at, we're here. Oh, come on. At my main step, and you can tell because I got the outpost beacon right here. So let's close this, right? We are going to save. We are going to export, right? Now you have to remember, what was the name of our world space? Aquila Cove. So I have a couple stuff in here. You know, technically I got my cove. I'm working on another spot. This is why we just name it anything so we can get it out. Make sure it's saved properly, right? Hit OK. Make sure you hit a save again just to be sure. And vacate your cell so we can change the name. It almost looks like this thing wants to crash. Let's see what happens. Oh, good. I can minimize it. So let's open up. Let's go to our game folder, right? Starfield. Come to data. We're going to come to our terrain. And here's the one that we're doing. This is the one that we need to change because I'm working on Aquila Cove. And 14 is my last one. So this is changing to 15. Move over, 15, hit enter. Rename this one to Aquila Cove. All right, and that's it. Let's go in the game and take a look. Almost had a heart attack. I looked down at my mic and I didn't look like it was turned off. Wait for our lovely ad. Well, there it is. Let's see if anything happened. I think I've been level 72 for like a week now. I gotta get out of the creation kit. Alright, let's see what we got. Definitely don't see any plants. So let's get out. Now she's not gonna follow us because I got no landscaping, right? So we painted over here by the rock. I don't see anything. This was like our test area. Let's see how our steps came out. We slowly got there on the steps, right? Kind of looks alright. You got the idea. If you're going to sit here and make stuff nicey-nicey, it's going to take a while. I can see where this got changed to sand. Tapering wasn't too impressive. Ah, and of course, I put the pink sand here. That's not what I wanted. I actually wanted to put this material. We'd use number... Yeah, it would look much better with that, I think. But oh well, you get the idea. We definitely did change this though, because it was like this rock stuff here. I thought it would look like loose rock, like it was disturbed, and it kind of like backfilled around the steps. And there's our little gazebo. So maybe I made my land a little too high, but it's definitely, you know, on a little peninsula like coming out here. And we're definitely shallow out here. Oh, I gotta fix my water. Oh, because I have the other mod going and I didn't make the changes in there. So let's come back to the Jeep. So we can look behind the ship and see if our tapering looks a little better. Oh, that looks bad. Yeah, I don't know why it's glitching. I need to be able to change all this land. I think maybe because I was recording, it was just giving me a hard time. Oh, I still have the water in there. I only hit it. I didn't delete it either. But you can see our changes worked over here, so we'll just come here. And I guess while we're here, Aquila land, so I'll jump over here. This is what's messing up my water. I think this is loading after the cove. But you can pretty much do the same thing inland, you know, so like there's a terrain edit, you know. I was messing around with like coloring. Now since this is a different biome, you know what I mean? This was like giving you this big rock. This was giving you like stony rock. This actually had like random like plants like pop up in it. This has more like these kind of like plants in it. This was kind of, I don't know, I think it was this one. And I think this is a different section. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, those were the 6 materials that you could get to edit with. And that's pretty much everything. Alright. You just want to see how this blended into a natural area. It blends in. You could tell it was touched, but when you're on the ground, it blends in pretty good. Alright, catch you guys later.